What's up, Ludens? Welcome back to the Ludens Query Podcast. I am joined once again by my good friend Ricky. What's up, Ricky? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Happy birthday, by the way. Today is his birthday. As of this recording, it is December 18th,
Yes.
2021. And it is Ricky's 29th birthday. Happy birthday.
29, yes. Let's just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's true or not, I'll leave it up to you guys. But yes, been a great day so far. Watch a great movie in a theater. As anyone clicking on this video can probably guess what movie we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to talk about that.
All right. And I am, of course, your other host, Moses. And I did also watch a great movie as well. And that's the reason for this recording. We are going to review Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's very fresh in our minds. We didn't talk about this movie prior. So everything that we're talking about right now is the first time we're saying each other's thoughts
pretty much
to anybody. Like, Ricky's the first person, besides my wife, who I watched the movie with. He's the first person other than my wife that I'm talking to about Spider-Man No Way Home. And man, I had to watch this movie. I knew that this movie was going to be one of those movies that was going to be a spoiler ridden movie.
It's going to be,
it was just one of those big movies.
It's going to be full of, one of those movies where there will be a lot of big moments that could be spoiled.
Especially if you watch the trailer and all of the hints that it drops. Like, me personally, if you have been, following us for a while, you know me. I hate spoilers. I have traumatic experiences with spoilers, and I do my best to avoid spoilers. Even just talking about it around me, I would consider it a spoiler if I have not seen it. And I knew I had to get tickets ASAP, and I got it on a pre-screening. I got tickets for a pre-screening the day before it got released, and I was like, okay, this is perfect. Everything aligned perfectly, and just after watching the movie, I was like, yes, peace.
It's such a relief. Right? I'm so glad I got influenced by you, because I for me, I was gonna watch it later.
Oof.
And then after Moses watched it, I was talking to him that night, and he was saying, right after he watched a movie, there were people in the lobby yelling and screaming out spoiler.
Oh my goodness.
So I heard that that scared me. I was like, oh shit, I better watch this movie quick. And then this happened at like 2 a.m. at night.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, at that moment, I was like, okay, let me hop onto the website to see how many seats there are left, if there are any, for the first matinee show. For today, right? It's actually December 17th, actually. And then I checked, and there is a beautiful prime seat right at the back in the middle, deep box seat, one left. Just sitting there. I was like, perfect. I plan on going alone. I know going to the theaters alone is kind of odd, but I enjoy it.
Nah, so it's not odd at all, man. I do it all the time. If there's a stigma around, like, if it's preventing you from going to a movie alone, forget about it. No one's gonna care.
No one's gonna care. It's a lot of fun. You just enjoying the movie on your own. It's great. Give it a shot. I had a lot of doubts before I tried it. The first time I tried it was actually watching Dune. So after that experience, I was like, yo, this is fun. Going to the theater alone.
There you go.
So anyways, I saw that one deep box seat left there. I was like, all right, this is mine. So I bought the ticket. And then immediately the next morning, woke up, went to the theater and watched it. And I felt relieved. It's like the weight's off my shoulders. Like, okay, I don't have to worry about spoilers.
There you go.
I am now immune against spoilers.
Oh yeah, same here. We got our you got our vaccination against spoilers, so we won't have a tremendous amount of damage dealt to our hearts and our minds.
Our mental state. Okay. I guess we've stalled enough. Let's talk about the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's gonna be full of spoilers. So this is
Saw
our
it.
spoiler warning.
Yep.
So as of this point, if you have not watched Spider-Man No Way Home, here is the TLDR. Go and watch it
Yeah. Just like,
ASAP.
what are you doing here? Like,
Just for the
stop
mere
watching.
fact
Yeah.
of just getting your spoiler vaccine. Do it.
Do it. Just,
Because spoilers are out there, just like COVID, man.
I know. Just stop this video right now. You don't want to catch spoilers. It's not good for your health. Stop this right now. Go watch the movie.
It's not good for your health. It's not good for your mental stability. You know, like people need to use their phones. And when you have an apprehension towards using your phone because you're like, oh no, I might come across a spoiler, because spoilers can happen anywhere, anywhere, and
You- you-
everywhere.
You don't
When
know
you
where
least
you'll
expect
catch
it. Okay, so spoiler warning done.
Okay.
Spider-Man No Way Home review starts now. So
There we go.
I'll start.
All right.
Man, I've been struggling to figure out if this is my favorite MCU movie
Ooh.
out of all the MCU movies. And I am very close to saying that it is, because this movie is just full of fan service for people that
so
have
many.
that have watched not even
Not even
all of
MCU. Just
MCU,
just Marvel
all of
movies.
it, just all
yeah,
of it.
just Marvel movies in general. Well, not including X-Men, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've been watching since basically Spider-Man 1, all the
This
way
movie,
till
basically, this movie was 20 years in the making.
it's something else.
And that's what makes this movie incredible for me personally, because I would say that I'm a huge fan of the MCU. I've watched pretty much all of the MCU movies except for Eternals, but Eternals.
Eternals.
And I heard that one's you can pass on.
You can
I'll
can
just
pass
wait.
on it.
I'll wait until it comes out on what's it called?
On
Disney Plus,
Disney
and watch
Plus.
it.
Yeah.
But
I watched it. It was it's forgettable.
But yeah, I think right now, I've been thinking about it since I watched it. I was like, is this my favorite MCU movie? Because the last review we done, Shang-Chi, that was my favorite MCU movie because of all the characters and the way it was performed and all the action. It was a really well done movie. But this one is just like it's got that plus all of the just fan service.
Yep.
And
All the emotions you've built up in the past 20 years. It's all like, unleashed over here in this movie.
oh my goodness. And just my decision to, no matter what, try to get tickets for even before day one. If I was vindicated after all the there's so many reveals in this movie. So even if you did get spoiled, there's probably something that you haven't gotten spoiled.
There's so many things that
There's so
you
many
probably,
things.
wouldn't see coming. So what is the first thing that stood out to you?
So I'm gonna talk about reveals because there's a lot of them, and
Yes.
basically every single one I didn't know about except for Doc Ock, because for me, I don't watch trailers. I don't watch trailers at all.
Yeah.
So it was a miracle to even not see what else the trailer had, because I watched the trailer afterwards and I saw how many villains from the other universes, the other movies they introduced in just the trailer.
Oh, they did, eh?
They
Okay,
did,
because
they did.
I only watched one trailer and I knew Doc Ock, and then they teased Green Goblin because of the bombs. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
That's all I knew.
No, like in the trailer, I definitely saw obviously Doc Ock, Green Goblin.
Green Goblin,
they did show Electro. And
Oh, they did, eh?
They did.
Oh.
They did. If you were paying attention, but I don't think they showed Lizard. Oh, they showed Sandman. So they basically showed pretty much all the villains. But yeah.
They did.
So the first reveal that I was like, no way, like I can't believe this is happening right now. And every single reveal just kind of hints at like possibilities.
Yeah,
Because now the multiverse is open. The multiverse is open now.
It's open, and I think I know who you're gonna say first, but let's keep going.
It's Matt Murdock.
Yes, Matt Murdock.
Oh my god! And I was like, no way.
I know. It makes sense. Because they live in the same city.
Yeah, I was like,
they live in the same city.
Of course, this makes perfect sense.
He finally shows up.
Oh my god!
And you're talking, they need a lawyer. At one point, someone threw the brick into the house, and he just catches it without looking. And Peter Parker's like, "How did you do that?"
I'm a really good lawyer. Oh my
good lawyer.
god!
I can't wait, for to see what happens next.
I know. Like from that moment, I was like, no way. As soon as you get someone as small as that, or not even that small, but like
it's not even small. Like he is a pretty big deal. But for someone to introduce someone that was from a TV show,
yeah,
that was
So that was the first reveal, and I was like, okay, I'm really in for a good ride because that was really at the very beginning.
Yeah, really,
and
really
they paced out the reveals so well. So that was the first reveal. And just like all the reveals afterwards, they just felt the same amount of like nostalgia plus excitement and just mind blown. Especially for someone that doesn't know at all how much reveals or how much characters from other TV shows and movies are going to show up. Because all I knew, and I personally thought this was a spoiler because they showed Doc Ock and Doctor Strange, and when you have those two together, you can start to piece together what's going to happen. So for whenever I see things like that, I piece together what might happen, and I don't like doing that. I like to just discover what's happening. But yeah, I really did not expect that much reveals from all those other movies, all the villains, and we're just talking about villains so far. Oh my god! But oh man, okay, hold on. Let me pass the torch to you because I would talk forever. Okay. Let's. I'm gonna throw it back to you.
All right.
Leaving it off from Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock. Okay, from there, they went through the whole thing with Doctor Strange, and then the next big thing we know, it's Doc Ock showing up on the highway,
on the bridge.
So seeing him fight, that whole scene was cool. I guess this might be jumping ahead a little bit.
That's okay.
But I really like how. One thing I really like, because even back then when I watched Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock, out of the 3 Spider-Man movies, he is my favorite because he is the most real and maybe even sympathetic villain, if you can even call him that. And they went full in for that theme because he is the most likable person out of all the villains.
Right.
So you get to the point at one point, Peter, he made the chip to save him because that was the reason why he went berserk, and from then on, he was basically a good guy. Doc Ock. So that to me, I felt vindicated. Believing, liking this character all these years, and here he is helping out Peter Parker. I'm just like, it's like, yes, this is what I wanted to see. This is what I wanted to see this whole time. And then going from Doc Ock, Green Goblin.
Okay,
man,
I'm gonna jump in. I did not know Green Goblin was gonna show up.
Oh, you didn't know?
That's how blacked out I was for spoilers. I was in complete lockdown for spoilers. I muted every single possible thing you could say about Spider-Man No Way Home on like Twitter and any type of social media that you can do that with. And when I heard that laugh, and then
you see the bomb?
And the bomb. Oh my god! I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
And
no way it's gonna be Willem Dafoe too. Oh my god! And it was.
Yeah, and it's him, right? And he shows up. I love how they kind of played with our emotions because we knew he is a victim to his own experiments too, right? So and then at the point where he broke the mask, he went to Aunt May seeking for help. At that point, I legit thought like, oh my god, like he's turned, like he fought off the Green Goblin in him. At that point, like I fell for that trap. I fell for it. like I legit think like, oh, like okay, is this really happening? I can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So that really got me. Like that. Oh, his acting is so good, man.
Oh,
That
Willem
dude.
Dafoe.
Oh,
He
it's so good.
really puts himself into his character,
Yeah,
and I love it.
it's so good. It's so good. And then on top of that, they fixed his costume
Oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
he broke the mask, and when he did the heel turn,
Mm-hmm.
he's still wearing the Green Goblin armor, but instead of the helmet, he had the purple scarf thing around his head.
Mm-hmm.
That is the classic comic book look.
Yeah,
When I
yeah,
saw that,
yeah.
I was like, I was so tempted to start applauding in the movie theater. I was like, yes, they did it, because that was one of the biggest complaints. Green Goblin, his acting is really good, but the mask, uh, it's it's concealing the actor's face, which is one of
Mm-hmm.
his biggest assets.
Yeah.
So now going with the classic look of the purple hood or scarf, whatever you want to call it, showing his face, that is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That is the ideal Green Goblin right there.
There you go.
It's
Fan
so good.
service. They do it so well.
That
Oh
part
man.
alone, it's got me so happy about this movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
even if they fail everything else, that alone saved the movie.
Oh man. And then the next review was what's his Max Dillon,
Yeah,
Electro. Oh,
Electro.
I was like, no way they brought him back too. I
Yeah,
was like,
I know.
okay.
Like I didn't know.
So, oh man. And then of course is building hype is like, okay, man, they got Doc Ock and Willem or Green Goblin
Green
and
Goblin, Electro.
Electro, and these are all the
Well,
original cast members
yeah,
of those other movies. So it's like obviously building up in your head, like, oh my god, we're gonna see the other two. Like, when is that
who
gonna
else?
happen? But like for the first half, we're just introducing like all of these people from all these different universes.
Yeah,
And yeah, you got Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, Lizard,
Sandman. Sandman
Sandman.
showed up. Well, Sandman actually showed up right before Electro because you see a bunch of sand moving, so everyone knew, okay, that's Sandman.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then Electro showed up first and he attacked Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, Sandman helped Spider-Man at that moment because I think at the
Mm-hmm.
end of
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 3, he's come to peace with everything. He's kind of made amends
Mm-hmm.
somewhat. So it kind of made sense that he is helping Spider-Man at that moment. So
Yeah.
that was a nice little twist.
Yeah. The thing, oh man, like as we're talking about it and I'm learning more and more about like, okay, one of the central themes of this movie is redemption
Yes,
for not just the heroes, but for the villains.
what the villains, yeah,
For all the
makes
villains,
up.
like they have their own redemption arc, and I've come to realize the reason why I enjoy and really love certain movies and shows and whatever content where the story is important is it's about the characters. It's always about
Yeah,
the characters. And when you write the characters well, you have interesting arc for not just the protagonist, but all the supporting characters. Then that's when you have a great movie. And this is exactly what Spider-Man No Way Home
it's
does
one of
really
them.
well.
And I love the theme about how, and this is something Aunt May talked into Peter Parker, like that heroes is more than just saving civilians or innocents. Villains are people too. They sometimes villain is just basically, like a hero on their bad day can easily turn into a villain. They're a victim to their circumstances too. So if there's a way to save them as a hero, you should save them too.
Yes.
That theme, and then Peter Parker actually going out of his way and actually close to being close to succeeding in saving them. That is like, to me, that was very emotional.
Right. Oh man. And then so where are we? We're basically going through the timeline of the movie. So
Somewhat,
we'll
somewhat.
try to keep it that way. So we
Yeah,
have all the villains revealed finally, and
yeah.
then they bring them together into the Undercroft, where that
No,
jail
before
is,
that, oh yeah, they bring them there first.
and then they explain all this stuff, um, and then that's when Peter Parker goes to Aunt May because Aunt May called him saying one of the guys they're looking for just came to feast. and
Yep.
that
And
was Norman
Osborn.
Osborn.
Osborn. Yep.
Oh man, and this is
And that
where Aunt May really kind of stepped into her role as this altruistic, selfless person,
yeah.
which I have never really seen from her in the previous
However, yeah,
movies.
she's always been a bit of like a gag or like
Mm-hmm.
not exactly a role model for Peter Parker.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like a guardian for Peter Parker, and she's a bit of has a bit of a comedic role.
Mm-hmm.
Never like the role model or the moral compass for Peter Parker.
Yeah, yeah. But they have a very close relationship, and of
Yeah,
course, Peter Parker loves his Aunt May, and you see
yeah,
that kind of a relationship, but you never see her in like her own personality or her own personal character just being her character. It's always
yeah,
like she is the aunt to Peter Parker, as
yeah,
opposed to she is running Feast, right? And then yeah, I agree with you with what Aunt May is talking to with Peter and saying like you should do more because you can do more for
yeah.
these people. These are people, even though they do bad things. It's
They like they've done bad things, but they
everyone deserves a second chance.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
And
god. And then
so and that was the turning point because before that, Peter Parker was in the same line of thought as Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange he just wants to capture these people,
mhm.
send them home, and call it a day. That's it, right? But it was that conversation with Anne May and seeing Norman Osborn. I feel like that was the moment where Peter Parker really that idea is in his started
Mhm.
to grow in his head, thinking, okay, you know
Yeah.
what, maybe I should help these people.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when they took him all back to the underground um, sanctum or whatever that place is
Yeah,
called,
I'm pretty sure it's called the Undercroft.
Undercroft.
That's what
Okay,
Stephen Strange said it was.
okay. When one day, once they took him all back there, Doctor Strange he was like ready. He was about to send him back,
Mhm.
and that's the thing because they basically figured out that as soon as they send him back, they're just gonna die because as of the
Oh,
timeline,
right, right.
they are already dead.
Mhm.
So they got plucked over here right before their death, basically.
Yeah.
So if we send them back, they are going to die.
Mhm.
And that's when Peter Parker really started to having started having second thoughts like, okay, maybe this is not
Yeah.
like the right thing to do.
Because
That idea,
essentially he would be acting as executioner in that moment,
yeah, pretty
right?
much. Like they're villains and it's like they deserve death. That's but basically what Peter Parker will be doing.
Mhm. And then with Doctor Strange is talking about that's their fate. That's
Yeah,
their fates because he's the former Sorcerer Supreme,
with Supreme.
but
Yeah,
he's always thinking about possibilities and fate and trying to balance everything. And in that grand scheme of things, right, you start to forget about okay these fates. You're talking about real people here,
yeah,
and this part of the story or part of the plot really shows Peter Parker's growth
yeah,
as a hero and his struggle as a hero because he's still a kid. He just
yeah. He's
like this is a very human story. Like he's legitimately a high school kid worried about going to college,
yeah,
and like the whole fact that he tried to make everyone forget he was Spider-Man. That's a very kiddish thing to do.
and
It's a very
his whole yeah,
it's kind of selfish too because you're trying to maintain that balance of like okay you're Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah,
You're trying to separate those two things. Like you want to live your life as Peter Parker, but also on the side be Spider-Man. And I feel like throughout this whole movie, this is Peter Parker learning that no matter what it is, he is always Spider-Man, and he always has this responsibility, and that's what he's learning. But he's still a kid, and he's still naive,
yeah.
and innocent. So, but that's what makes it perfect for him to save these villains, because anyone else would probably send them back, right?
Pretty much. I was just about to say that like his age and his naive
Yeah.
naive Like that's what allows him to to actually be willing to help these people. It's because of how naive he is as a teenager. The only other person I can see doing that might be Captain America. Everyone else, they're much more of a realist, so I don't think they will be willing to put themselves and everyone else at risk to save these villains, right? But yeah, like Peter Parker being the young kid he is, I think that's what allows him to take those risks.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what he does. He has a fight with Doctor Strange to take away that box. And I know for a fact that's one of your favorite moments in the movie. I know. Ricky, I know. There's a line and I know it. that's the last line. I know it. You know what's better than magic?
Math. Like when he looks at, like, it's like, oh, these are just geometric shapes.
Yeah.
And he started doing calculations. He figured out how to, like, shoot the webs, where to shoot it, and trap Doctor Strange. I was like, yes. Yes.
I knew it. When I heard that line, I'm like, I gotta get Ricky to watch this movie ASAP, just for this moment. just for this moment. For those of you who don't know, math is Ricky's first language. He thinks and speaks in the language of God. Because what's the language of God, Ricky?
Well, the closest thing to being the language of God is math. Because that math, numbers, explains everything in the universe. You can explain anything with numbers and math.
So I knew in that moment, like, okay, this is definitely the moment for Ricky. This moment right here. But yeah, so at the end of that, Spider-Man wins that fight with math. Doctor Strange is stuck in the mirror dimension, and he goes and tries to save and redeem and cure the villains. These villains. In his naivety.
Yeah.
So they go back to Happy's condo, and that's when he starts to help them.
Which is cool, because that aspect, it's something I kind of missed in the first two movies, because something that tends to get glossed over or people forget is that Peter Parker is actually pretty damn smart in terms of him being a brilliant scientist. We saw glimpses of that in the second movie at the end when he's making his own suit, but that feels more like him using Tony Stark's technology, right?
Yeah.
But in this one, you see him, like, looking at each villain, looking at the conditions, and he's trying to figure out solutions to helping them. And then you have all these established scientists looking at Peter Parker, and they're like, "Yo, this kid is brilliant.
Yep.
He is legit." So that aspect, that's why, to me, that whole apartment or condo scene I really like, because first of all, we get to see Peter Parker flexing his scientific abilities. Second of all, you kind of really start to see the other side of some of these villains, because that's where Peter Parker really get to talk to them.
True.
And they have started to kind of mellow out a little bit, to to kind of loosen up a bit to Peter Parker. To me, that whole scene was, I really love it. I really like that scene.
True. Like, every opportunity that was given, these characters utilized it to its full potential to bring their characters to life and to humanize their characters. Even though these are like super villains and superheroes, what makes a great story is a human story, because a human story is relatable.
You really get to see what makes them tick and who they really are and what they want, right? So, like, that whole condo scene, I love it. That is one of the highlights for me in the movie.
I love it, and I'm also saddened by it, because this is where it's the turning point. It's all fun and games until this moment, because it's a room full of villains, and for all of them to behave is naive, but that's exactly what Peter Parker is. He's just so good,
He's so trusting that, like, you just figure, okay, it's fine. I'm helping them. Nothing will go wrong.
He's doing what he thinks is the most right thing to do.
Yeah.
And he's gonna set his mind to just do it, right?
Like, he kind of does it without thinking what the possible consequences might be.
And that's exactly how a teenager thinks.
Yeah.
You know?
They just do it. It's like, all right, that seems like the good thing to do. Let's just do it without thinking about the consequences.
Yeah, and it really this movie really shows all of the powers and abilities that Peter Parker has, because his spider senses starts to tingle in the condo. He's like, he knows something is wrong.
Yeah,
and he's sensitive to it. And it's the Green Goblin. He knows something's going on.
He can sense it, and then turns out, it was the Green Goblin who is a just evil this whole time. He pretended to be back to being Norman Osborn, but he's not. It's still the Green Goblin this whole time. Because Doc Ock, they put they made the chip, they quote unquote cured Doc Ock, so he is fine there. Sandman, he just wants to go home, so he's kind of in a neutral ground. Lizard, I guess the character that got explored the least, it might be Lizard. I feel like
that's true because he was left in the truck.
He was left. He was left inside a truck, and then Electro. Electro was kind of like was there to mislead you because they're making they keep hinting at that he is not fully in on the plan.
Yeah.
Which is true, right? He's not fully committed to it.
What's that like chart? I think it's like a D&D chart. It was like chaotic evil, chaotic good.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like I feel like Electro, Electro was like chaotic neutral. Like you don't know. And then I don't know. I actually don't know how to use this table, but like it feels like you're just not sure about Electro.
A little bit. I guess that kind of makes sense. Him being chaotic neutral, somewhat. Whereas Sandman is like true neutral.
Yeah.
And then Green Goblin is chaotic evil.
Yeah. Chaotic evil.
I think that's the term, right?
Absolutely, he is chaotic evil. Because when like shit hit the fan because of Green Goblin convinced Electro that like he is a god.
Yeah, like
and he shouldn't have to choose, or he shouldn't have to
give up his powers.
Yeah,
to turn back into a normal person. Basically,
you just take it. You take what you want.
Yeah, because the moment leading up to that, Electro, he was ready. He was about to commit to that. And then, like I was saying, like the leading up to that point, you get the feeling Electro might be the one who might reject everything and ruin everything. But turns out, it was Green Goblin.
Yeah. Especially after Electro saw the arc reactor.
Yeah,
the Iron Man arc reactor. Come on, that's energy.
That's
all
energy,
this guy lives
right?
for. But yeah, oh man, and then there you go, condo fight, like decimating this whole building, and then you know what happens.
And then the moment, which this has been kind of
this is the hero moment. This is the hero moment for Peter Parker.
Yeah,
because it's the first tragedy to happen in the game right now. Or in the movie.
In the movie.
Because there's a fight with Green Goblin, because they end up in the lobby, and Aunt May is right there. She takes all the cures and tries to get out of there, but she gets interrupted because Peter Parker and Green Goblin just fall into the lobby. But she can't run away. Like that's her nephew, basically her son. She's not gonna run away. And it shows like why she's such a great role model for Peter Parker. Like Peter Parker wants her to run, but she's not gonna just abandon and not run away from this fight. And these are the things that she's been saying to Peter Parker all this time. And then
the moment before her passing, it was crazy because she didn't even realize she is dying.
She's just like,
she is still doing everything she could to cheer Peter on, telling him he's doing the right thing, telling him everything that a role model should tell their your children, basically. Not, there wasn't a single moment where her own death even, flashed, was occurred in her mind. This whole point. Even when she collapsed, she was just thinking, what happened? What is happening to me?
Yeah.
She is still concerned, thinking about Peter Parker. That to me was really powerful.
Man, just that whole moment between Aunt May and Peter Parker, because this is the moment for every Peter Parker that happens. With great power comes great responsibility, and it's really like that's the central theme, I would say, of this movie, right?
For most Spider-Mans, right? Like that, that is the main theme, right? And this is something that's been missing in the past few Spider-Man movies, because
for the MCU,
for the MCU Spider-Man, because this Peter Parker, at least, he never went through the whole Uncle Ben dying and Uncle Ben saying all that to him, right? He only had the Aunt May, which is, I always find that a little weird. I was like, what? Wait, why? What happened, right? And then I guess it's all leading up to this moment. I don't know if they planned it or not.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant either way. Like, the way it all leads up to this moment, it was brilliant.
Bro, when she said the words "with great power," I was, oh no.
I was thinking like, not right now, man.
Because I don't know, there was a mix of emotions for me, because she was directly hit with the glider, and I was like, she died. I was like, no,
she dead, right? Yeah.
But then she got up, and she's like all normal. She got up. And I'm like, okay, she's good, I guess.
I guess that she's fine.
And
as soon as she starts saying those words, I was like, oh no,
man, with great power comes great responsibility, and it really sends that message home in those moments.
Yeah,
because at this point, Peter is feeling like a failure, because how could he trust these guys, and how could he let this happen? And Aunt May she got hurt, and it's the last thing Peter Parker wants ever.
Yeah.
But then, she slowly just
drifted away,
and then man, Tom Holland, you gotta give him credit, man. Whenever he's in those moments, he sells it.
He sells it.
Tony Stark with Aunt May, he sells these moments whenever. He's a good actor. You can't deny this.
He is perfect for Peter Parker, man. That goddamn, he is great. He is great.
Yeah, and that's the moment where, man, he really is learning this lesson of what it means to be a hero.
Yeah, that is his true start on his path to become a true hero.
This is finally the origin story.
Yeah.
These past 3 movies, they're not one of them was really an origin story. That
it's like a prologue.
Spider-Man, yeah, exactly. Spider-Man never really had an origin story in the MCU.
Yeah.
Because when you make a new Spider-Man movie, it's hard to do that now, because you had the 2002 Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, which we'll get to, and then the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, which we'll get to, and to do another origin story would be another Spider-Man.
Yeah,
type of
people
thing.
are already kind of fed up with us. How many times do we have to see this, right?
Yeah, so they kind of just come in with the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man in the MCU with the ground running, because he was introduced in Civil War.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is now the true origin story for Spider-Man, and in the origin stories, there's great loss, and there's hero moments. And my God, what a hero moment, because this is Peter Parker at his absolute lowest.
And he needed help from seniors, veterans, role models, so to speak. And in this case,
oh boy,
the role model.
This is what happens next.
And a helper that shows up to help him.
Bro. Hold on. We gotta build this up.
We gotta build this up.
After this, we go back to Ned and MJ. Yeah. Just chilling at Ned's house, and I love it because I'm Filipino. Ned's Filipino, and his Lola, which is his grandma, is speaking Tagalog to all. Okay, I love it. I just love it. But yeah, when Ned accidentally, it's Like,
Open the
where's
portal.
Peter? Or like, I wish I could see Peter right now, or something. He says it by accident, but it like sparks the sling ring, and he
The
does it
portal ring.
again.
Yeah.
He does it
Yeah.
again. He's like, "Where's Peter Parker?" Or I forgot what he says. He says,
He
"Peter
said like
Parker.
I think they said I want to see Peter Parker.
I want to see Peter Parker." Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I think
then
that's the line.
you see
A
the
portal
circle
opens
open
up.
up,
Yep.
and
And it's the
there he is. There's Peter
I see
Parker.
you
There's
see
Peter
Parker.
Parker.
You see Spider Man.
But as soon as I saw that circle, I was like, no, don't tell me. Don't tell me that. Oh my God, what's about to happen right now? And then Spider-Man comes walking through that portal.
Yep. And it's
God,
who is it? It's Spider Man.
it's
And then
freaking
he
Spider-Man.
takes off the mask.
Oh my God, it's the Amazing Spider-Man.
It is the Amazing
Oh my
Spider Man.
God.
Yeah.
And the
Andrew
crowd
Garfield
goes
Spider-Man.
wild.
Yep. Same with my whole theater. They were like, wow, shit.
That's what I love about watching movies in the theater. Sometimes it's a collective experience, right? It
Yeah.
adds to it when you're just cheering on at the same time as everybody else because everyone just loves this moment. And it's Andrew Garfield Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Shows up. So say what you will about those movies, but seeing him in this movie, it's something special.
It is definitely something special. But that's not all.
It's not all well. Before that happens, they're having a little back and forth, and then the Lola, was making some demands of him.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat. He's like, "Oh, can you, go get the cobwebs from the corner over there?"
Because this is a world where like Spider-Man's a normal thing. It's like, can you? Like, she already knows what this guy can do. It's like, can you
Yeah.
just?
Yeah, like we can't reach there. Can you just go clean up some stuff?
Oh
And
my
after
God.
that, they were like, "Okay, let's try this again. Let's find Peter Parker."
Mm.
So Ned tries again. Okay, I want to see Peter Parker. Opens it up. A portal opens. There is Peter Parker.
Oh my God.
There's Peter Parker.
It was perfect. It was perfect the way they did it.
And then Peter Parker casually just hops over the portal and says hi. It's like, oh, hi. Oh, portal is gone. And then it's
Tobey
Peter
Maguire.
Parker.
It's Tobey
Tobey
Maguire,
Maguire.
man. Oh my God.
Yo, just
Bro.
like, oh man, seeing Andrew Garfield was one thing, but seeing Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man, man, like
It's
it's
pure
very emotional.
sound. It's pure fan service. Oh my God. It is nostalgia.
It's
This
nostalgia.
is 20 years in the making.
It hit really hard. That hit really hard. Seeing his face again, like once again, say what you will about him as Spider-Man, but seeing him again as Spider-Man, as Peter Parker, whew, that was like a heavy hit to the gut. It was like it makes you feel like, oh man, there's Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker again.
Oh my God. It was so great. So great to see them all again.
Yeah, and of course they have some fun, comedic banters back and forth, which is fine. It's cool seeing Toby and Andrew, Spidey talking to each other. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, now the Tom Holland's Peter Parker needs help.
Yeah.
We gotta find him. We have to talk to him. And then we go to the rooftop scene. And boy, what a conversation.
I know, right?
Conversation. Just
It really oh man, it shows you that they really care. Like, I'm talking about in terms of the film production. They care about
these characters.
these
Not just
characters
Tom, not just
in
Tom
trying
Holland,
to in trying to show their origin, right? Every Spider-Man, like Spider-Man's one of those heroes that is just like engulfed in loss and sacrifice.
Yeah.
And they show it really well in all of the movies, and all the, like, the first Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man and now Spider-Man with Tom Holland, like, yeah, and those conversations about their loss, Uncle Ben, Gwen Stacy, right?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Oh my God.
And I really like the fact that, like you're saying, the production people or the film director or whoever writes the script, like they showed a lot of respect to the other two Spider-Mans. They didn't just show up to have a team up battle just for fan service. They actually showed talk about their past trauma, talk about their experiences.
Yeah.
Show, they kind of show like who they are and why they are a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And they passed on like all those onto Tom Holland, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So that whole moment was another beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm. Because with great power,
they all say it comes great responsibility.
So great. So great. And it just gets better because, again, like I said before, it's a theme of redemption throughout this. Not just for the villains, but for the heroes as well.
Yeah, everyone gets its redemption. So we go on. Okay, I'll go
on. Yeah. We go on and they start to develop the cures. They're going to cure some ass now.
Yeah.
And all three Spider-Man go full scientist mode. And,
which is great.
And develop the cures for all of the villains, for their respective villains, right? Because each person is an expert of their own villains from their own universe, right? So obviously it would make sense for them to work together and make these cures. And then they go through with their plan. And they meet at the Statue of Liberty, where the final battle scene happens. And this is packed with lots of things.
Lots of action. Lots of things.
A lot of action, obviously, but apart from that, still redemption. Oh my god. Okay. So many things happened in this last battle scene. I don't even know where to begin. First, I'm thinking of Electro. Going to the original look of Electro.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
A bit of that, not full on.
Not original. Full on, but it does.
You see glimpses of that, whenever he powers up when he teleports.
You
see the whole star head, basically, right?
Yeah.
So when it first popped in, I was like,
I love it.
Oh, they're going too far for that look.
They did it. Oh my god, that was one of the things that stood out from that fight scene. Just seeing Electro when he does his charge attacks, and then seeing the OG
look, the silly
Electro.
look.
Yeah. Oh my god,
that was dope. That was really good. So for the good part of that fight, at the beginning of that fight, they're mainly fighting Lizard, Electro, and Sandman. I believe these are the three they're fighting. Because Doc Ock, he is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Same with Green Goblin. He's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
And they're just mainly fighting these three guys, and they're kind of struggling a bit.
Because the thing, I love it. I just love all these nuanced things that they take care of the details with, because it's true. Like Spider-Man, like the previous two, they've always been solo acts, so to speak. They've always worked alone, and they never really worked as a team, so they don't know how to do that.
And how to fight as a team, right?
But Tom Holland, I love it. Tom Holland says, "Oh, I was a part of the team. I was part of the Avengers." What's that?
They're like, "What are the Avengers? What are you talking about?"
That's awesome. It's awesome. They just take extra special care about getting all the details right, and really, even though they're all Peter Parker, they're all unique.
Yeah, they're very different.
And they're different in their own way.
Of course.
Even though they're all Peter Parker, they're all different. It's awesome. Different.
And then one of the, I guess, running gag and once all three Spider-Man showed up was how Tobey Maguire, he can shoot webs.
Oh, yeah.
It's both Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. They have to make the web shooter.
Yeah.
Which is more accurate to the comics, right? That's a big controversy when they made the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It's like people are complaining, why is he shooting, webs out of his wrists? That's bullshit. So I'm kind of glad they used that as a gag.
Yeah. They touched on it.
They touched on it. They talked
about it. It's even, it makes sense for them to even bring it up.
Yeah.
They knew it had to be mentioned because Peter Parker is a curious guy. He wants to know how things work. So when Tobey Maguire or when Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield are asking Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker, how do you do that?
Yeah.
It's just natural, And again, it humanizes these characters, which makes us just love them more, or make us care about them more. Because this is exactly what I would say to like someone's like, how the hell did you do that? Like that's weird, bro.
Especially like especially like you're like my counterpart from a different universe. Like, how are we different? Like, are we supposed to be the same?
Yeah.
Like, how did you have? Like, why do you have this ability and I don't?
Exactly.
Like, what's going on here?
Anyway,
back to the fight scene.
So
during this fight scene, one huge thing talking about redemption, second chance. There was one part where MJ was being chased by the lizard, and she fell off the building. Fell off, not the building, the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Because the lizards attack. And then who goes save her?
Tom Holland. Tom Holland tried.
Yes.
And like he failed because I think Green Goblin came out of nowhere, or someone.
Might have been Sandman. I forgot who.
Like Tom Holland, he went for that, tried to save MJ, right?
Yeah.
But he couldn't get there.
In time.
Oh no.
Yep. And then Andrew Garfield Spidey jumps down.
That
catches
moment.
Her.
Oh my god.
That was like a moment. Even though that movie, honestly, that Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't that great of a movie, but that moment, you legit feel that he has found redemption by saving like this girl, the Peter Parker's girlfriend from a different universe, in a similar situation. And the fact that he started feeling emotional, he felt like he legit feel like he got saved. He is like finally saved from that trauma. And that was a moment. Like even though I didn't like that movie, seeing that moment made me feel emotional.
It was definitely an emotional moment, especially just the performance of it in terms of the acting. Like Andrew Garfield didn't even say things in those moments. He went, saved MJ, landed on his feet. He's like still carrying MJ in his hands, and they're having this moment. Like Andrew Garfield, he's looking into MJ's eyes, and it's just like filled with emotion and trauma and redemption and relief, and like MJ's like, "Are you okay?" And then Andrew Garfield's like, yes. he's amazing.
And just him saying like, "Yes, I'm okay now." Like that means so much. That line means so much.
And then the next redemption moment, I feel like I'm skipping ahead. I'm skipping ahead quite a bit.
That's fine.
Is the Green Goblin fight. Right? When Tom Holland, he's full of rage. He's full on like he's at a breaking point, right? He wants to kill Norman Osborn. And it's fresh. This is fresh trauma. And like he was going to kill him.
He was full on ready.
He was going to do it. But then who came to rescue of Norman Osborn? It's Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker. I feel like in that
and the thing is, Tom Holland was about to use his glider to kill him, which is how Green Goblin died originally.
Yes. And this is Tobey Maguire's like villain, right? He has a history with Norman Osborn. It happened to him before. And like it's in Spider-Man 1, it wasn't even Peter Parker's fault. He didn't kill Green Goblin. He just moved out of the way.
But still, I guess deep down
he didn't want to kill him at all.
Like especially he is Norman is his best friend's dad, right? So
and they have
sure
like a good relationship too.
They had a good relationship. Yeah, they like each other, right? So I'm sure like that waited on Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. Peter Parker thought, his mental state, it's been bothering him. He basically felt like he let Norman Osborn die.
Yeah, he has that guilt because he wanted to save Green Goblin, right? He wanted to save Norman, and he did so in this movie. He redeemed himself. and got stabbed for it. So in a sense, Green Goblin got his redemption.
Yeah. Got his little payback.
He got his little payback, but a good thing Tobey Maguire survived. I was like, did he die?
Oh,
Please don't tell me
I
he
was like,
died. There's no way.
please don't kill him. Yeah, don't kill him off like this, right? But yeah, he survived.
And then, yeah, that's in that moment. That's when Tom Holland, Peter Parker, he knew like what it takes now to become Spider-Man, like true Spider-Man, because this is another Peter Parker coming to save Norman Osborn. And this is a Peter Parker, like they've shared trauma or their stories together. So for Tom Holland, he's thinking like he knows something I don't. He knows what consequences happen when you let yourself go, and he's protecting this man right now, even though even though Norman Osborn is an enemy for Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker.
And Tobey Maguire still came and saved him.
And then that's when, like, he really cured Norman Osborn's ass. He really did that, because that was a good throw. It's a good catch. Cured. And then just redemption all around here.
Yep, redemption, and then what it means to be a hero, saving people.
What it means to be a hero, which leads us to the next thing. The next thing that I feel is very important, not just for like this movie, but for the future of the MCU.
Yeah, this actually, I was pretty curious about where they're gonna go with this.
Because this whole thing happened because of a spell that went wrong.
All because Peter Parker couldn't keep his mouth shut, couldn't keep quiet.
And now
the fabric of reality is breaking apart,
and every single,
like, all alternate dimensions, being that knows Peter Parker, it's starting to break through this dimension barrier, trying to come to the MCU. Basically, there's going to be a disaster.
And what is
the solution?
What is the
solution?
What is the thing that has to happen now? And this is the biggest hero moment for Peter Parker. He's essentially saving his universe right now, and in order to do that, every single person forgets that he is Peter Parker and who he is. And man, that is quite the sacrifice. That's loaded.
Yep.
This whole movie, he's trying to fight against, he's trying to fix his mistake. He's trying to get everyone to go back to normal, or he's trying to make his own personal life more convenient. This whole movie, he's trying to balance things for Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
He's trying to get the best of both worlds, basically.
And then this is where he learns that he can't do that, because with great power comes great responsibility, and he decides to make everyone forget that I'm Peter Parker and who I am.
That was a moment where he truly became Spider-Man. He's still living the life as Peter Parker. He hasn't given that up yet. He still wants to reconnect with his friends, but you kind of get the feeling that
that moment too, when he's trying to reconnect with MJ and Ned. He goes to the diner. That was so well acted. I believed every, like, they weren't talking much, but it was just like their facial expressions were saying a lot, especially those final moments with Tom Holland and Zendaya. Like, he's trying to pay for this coffee. Right, and there's a lot of these pauses, and he's struggling to try and say and introduce himself again to his friends and start a relationship here. But as soon as MJ like pulls or brushes back her hair, he sees the band-aid, and you see his facial expression kind of change. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, like this is what got me in trouble in the first place. And this is something that I don't want to do again. I don't want to put people that I care about in danger anymore." And he's remembering the responsibility that he has. If he wants to care for the people that he loves, he can't have a relationship with them because they're going to get hurt. And I was like, oh my God, that's tough. And that's when I really knew, like, this is Spider-Man. This is...
Yeah. The origins of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. He is truly become Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. He truly became Spider-Man. He's like, he got his own part. He got his own suit. He made his own suit.
Yeah.
And man, I was just like, those final moments in the movie, they were very quiet, and they're very somber, which I felt was exactly what Peter Parker's life is now. It's quiet. He's alone now, but he's a hero with all this responsibility. But he's able to handle it all.
Yeah.
What a movie, bro.
Yep. And then we have the end credit scenes.
Oh, God. It's not over. It's not over.
It ain't over yet.
Before we touch on that, actually, no, we'll talk about that and then talk about what I wanted to talk about after. So the first end credit scene, who do we see? See Eddie Brock.
We see Eddie Brock from the movie Venom.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the second Venom. But
same here.
But I don't. It's still like, this guy's Venom, and then it's just funny. Like, he ends up in Mexico.
He's there just talking, chilling, having a drink.
Because everyone that's he's one of them
that knows Peter Parker. Yeah. Came over to this universe. So he's just there chilling, and then he disappears because that's I guess when Doctor Strange casted the spell.
Yeah.
So he disappears.
Mm-hmm.
But then the camera zooms in a bit on the table. You see a little puddle of the symbiote sitting there, left behind in the MCU.
Oh boy.
What does that mean? Well, we're gonna find out, I guess.
We're gonna find out.
We will find out indeed.
Oh boy. And then the last reveal at the end. I didn't watch because I figured out, it's like, this is a full-on trailer. I'm not gonna watch.
I watched it.
I did not watch it. So all I saw was Doctor Strange, and like, he's about to get married. Because I saw that little clip of them like, Rachel McAdams was in a wedding dress, and Stephen Strange was in a tux, or Benedict Cumberbatch was in a tux.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, are they getting married? And then as soon as I figured out, like, hey, this feels very trailer-like, I'm gonna look down, because you're telling me the whole story again.
So I watched the trailer. It is like you said, it's a trailer. It's a full-on trailer.
Whatever reveal or whatever like thing you're excited about, good for you.
So for your sake, we're not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for you.
I don't know what that special thing is.
And he hasn't seen it, so we can't really talk about it. So so we'll put that aside.
But I'm gonna watch it, and then you can expect a video on that. Whatever Doctor Strange movie is gonna come out, so we'll talk about it then.
So what is it you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about a moment that Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and Max Dillon Electro, they had a moment.
Yeah,
they had a moment.
Yes.
And Max Dillon was like, "Oh, you're a guy that helps out poor people, and you're from Queens. I just thought you would be black, man." And Andrew goes, I don't know. I'm sorry, man.
I get,
But
yeah, I
then,
get
but then Max Dillon mentions like, I don't know. There's probably a black Spider-Man somewhere
Spider-Man
out there in
out
another
there. Yeah.
universe. So I was like, ooh, Miles
Ooh,
Morales. Ah, and
you're teasing it.
they're teasing. They're like they said it. Like people wrote this shit. That I don't know. Well, it could be improv because I know Jamie Foxx is he does a lot of improv for when he does
Yeah,
movies. But the editors and they still they put it in there.
they put it in there, so I don't know, man. I don't know.
I feel like this is my theory. We're in theory territory now. I feel like the next Spider-Man movie is gonna be Tom Holland's last.
You think
I
so, eh?
think so because they're gonna introduce Miles Morales in that movie.
I don't know because Tom Holland, like his character is still too young in the movie. I feel like there's still a lot of room to grow.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, maybe I feel like it's starting to become the end for. At least this might be the last phase you see Spider-Man in, like Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
I don't know. I find that hard to believe.
Especially
It's a,
because I think I've heard Tom Holland even speak about like he wants to take a break from acting and he wants to kind of pass the torch to the next Spider-Man.
but at the same time, as as a character, I felt like
We
this
started.
Spider-Man.
We just started basically. You
We,
know.
we just started, but at the same time, his mental state it's already pretty well developed.
Mm-hmm.
After this whole movie, he is acting like a legit real hero.
Yeah,
So what else is there for him to do? Actually, if you think about it that way.
it's true. It's true. So that's what I'm saying. In the next movie, you. It might make sense to introduce Miles Morales, and then have Tom Holland be like kind of a mentor to Miles Morales.
Could be. Well, I don't know. I could see that happening, but at the same time, like he just I felt like this is just the origin. This is just the beginning for Spider-Man, right? Like
I
I,
don't know, man. I don't know.
it's just maybe
It's
it's just me. Like emotionally, I don't want to let this character go yet. I want to see more of
Ooh.
this character because
uh
he is such a good Peter Parker, man.
he is. He's good.
He,
He's good.
so maybe that's the reason why I don't feel like I'm not ready to see it a new Spider-Man.
I feel like he should kind of, end off on a high note because like this is Tom Holland at peak Peter Parker right now. Like how Peter Parker is written and like he's been through a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, who
Or
knows? Who knows?
maybe what they can do, like if they do make a Miles Morales movie, that's fine. But I still want to see Tom Holland show up in other MCU movies, just showing up to
Yeah,
help
yeah,
out.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
I'm saying as
Like
a Spider-Man movie,
like a whole, like
the next one, Miles Morales, he's got to be in it. They've been teasing him throughout all the movies because in the first movie, you see the Prowler, which
mm,
is Miles Morales' uncle.
mm,
And then like in this movie, see Jamie Foxx kind of alluding to there's a black Spider-Man somewhere.
yeah.
So that's my personal theory. Miles Morales, that's gonna be in the next Spider-Man movie. But back to this movie, Ricky, we've watched this movie and it's very fresh in our minds. I think it's safe to say we both think it's a very great movie.
It's
It's awesome.
it's really good. I would say it's one of my favorite MCUs.
Mm.
Definitely one of my favorite MCUs.
So
Just yeah,
let's wrap it up
yeah.
and let's give it a final rating.
Oh boy.
It's your favorite, absolute favorite thing to do. So Ricky, what would you rate this movie?
Mm. Whew. Subjectively, personally speaking, I'll give this a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
I really like this movie. I really like this
Oh
movie.
my goodness. Oh.
Because it just pull on all your heartstrings. Like it does so many things right. There are a few things that bugs me a little bit.
Mm.
Um, but overall, I think this is a really well made movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't my heart is telling me this is a 9 out of 10 movie.
Absolutely.
In terms of in terms of MCU, like I would say this is right up there as Infinity War, as just being like some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of MCU, I would say Infinity War is still my favorite. Endgame, I got there's some really good moments, but I'll put that like one step below Infinity War, and I would say Spider-Man is right up there.
After Infinity War, after Endgame.
I would say a little lower, just one step lower than Infinity War, at the same level as Endgame.
Oh, really? Okay. That's fair. This is a big movie. This is one of the biggest.
This is huge.
Since Endgame.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the biggest.
The biggest since Endgame, because we got Black Widow, we got Shang-Chi, and we got Eternal since then.
And we got all the Disney Plus TV show series. Yeah. Those are important.
Those are important, but strictly speaking, in terms of movies, then this is definitely the biggest.
Absolutely. So for me personally, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10, man. It's a 10 out of 10. Absolutely. I give it a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend that.
Watch it.
Everyone watch. Well,
yeah.
I would say that if you are a fan of the MCU, a fan of Marvel movies, a fan of Spider-Man, you go and watch this movie ASAP.
Yeah. You better watch it now before anything gets spoiled.
It's a 10 out of 10 for MCU fans, for fans of Spider-Man. If you're just like a regular person that is not really caught up with MCU and you want to watch a movie, I wouldn't.
Yeah, this movie might not. Yeah, this movie might not do too much for you if you've never watched the older Spider-Man, so you're not that big into MCUs. Then this movie might not hit you as hard as it did us.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a fan of all those stuff, then this will be something else.
I mean, like if you're watching this, you've already watched it.
Chances are, at least I hope. Because there are people who go out there, they'll watch spoiler reviews before watching the movie. So there are people like that.
Yeah.
But if you're one of those, then go watch it now, man. Please go watch it. Go watch this movie.
I think, in terms of like ranking them of all the MCUs, oh my god, this is my favorite. This has got to be my favorite in terms of everything that I love about movies in general, and compared to all the other MCU movies, because it's got everything. It's got
pretty much got everything.
This is a movie 20 years in the making. Even more than Iron Man, back in 2007. This dates back to 2002, Spider-Man 1. And
in a sense, yeah.
What a great movie.
It is. Like I wouldn't, honestly speaking, like I kept telling myself, like, okay, keep your expectations low. Then you won't get disappointed.
If you always expect disappointment,
you'll never be disappointed. So I went in with relatively low expectations, because the last two movies, they weren't bad by any means, but they weren't amazing either. Like I felt like they're just pretty mediocre with some good moments and some lots of dull moments. So I went into this movie thinking, okay, it's just gonna be a good Spider-Man movie. I hope at least, and then it blew me out of the water. I was like, shit, this is amazing,
bro. It blew my mind, especially because nothing was spoiled for me except for Doc Ock. That's all I knew.
Yeah, Doc.
That's all I knew, and he was revealed in the beginning. So anything afterwards was just amazing, absolutely amazing. Spider-Man No Way Home, basically a 9.5 out of 10 on the Ludens Query podcast, because I got a 10 out of 10 over here, and Ricky gave it a 9, so 9.5.
And
But yeah, fantastic movie. I am definitely gonna watch it again.
yep.
But yeah, in terms of a ranking for MCU, I would say No Way Home is up there, right at the top for me
Mm.
personally. And
Yeah, I'll
then I
say
would say Infinity War. Oh, Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi, Infinity War.
oh really?
Mm.
Damn, man.
It's because I love I love the characters, right?
Ah,
Um, when you have a lot of characters in the movies, like Infinity War,
yeah.
it's hard to
It's hard to balance things, right?
balance things. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've already have established characters, and you're really just watching for the events that unfold.
Yeah.
But how I really resonate with the story and how I really like how I end up liking a movie is based on how much I like the characters and how much gets written for the characters and their whole
Mm-hmm.
story. So, but Spider-Man No Way Home, I mean, we got 3 Spider-Mans. That's 3, and they wrote every one of those guys just perfectly. It's awesome.
And yeah.
And that, I would say, concludes our Spider-Man No Way Home review.
Review. If you can even call that, it's just us, fangirling over this movie, right? It's not
I
even
mean,
a review.
we're reviewing. We're reviewing.
We're reviewing, but it's just us gushing over this movie.
It's more like in-depth review.
We
That's what reviews
it's,
do. They basically tell what the story is and then kind of have their takes on it. And which
and
is
just
what
say
we
like,
did.
yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is not. This is good. This is not good. So yeah, sure.
We reviewed it, man. Yeah, and that's it for
Our reviews.
this review for Spider-Man No Way Home. Thank you for everyone for watching. Ricky, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/BaconBeercan. You can find me building Lego there, playing all sorts of games. If you want to talk more about movies, games, or anything, come on over.
Nice. And you can
That's
find
it.
me at twitch.tv/MojoCritical. I stream semi-regularly, but we do a lot of kind of talk shows with both of us, usually every week. The last thing we did was a best game of all time series, which is a lot of fun. The next thing we're gonna do is something a little bit similar. I think we'll start that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, something for
Probably
the
in the
new
new
year. I
year.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Year's.
So yeah. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, give us a like and consider subscribing. That'll help us out a lot for future MCU or whatever review that we talk about and we consume as consumers. And yeah, thank you guys for watching again. Peace
We'll
out.
see you guys
Ludens.
next time.
Keep playing. Peace out. Go watch Spider-Man again.